Greetings once again from the Distortion World with more blessings from Lord Giratina himself. I am Dunsparce of the Distortion World, and we are back with another tale of darkness. This time, we are peering into the memories of a trainer by the name of Bob, as we recount the tale of MADHOUSE. To be fair though, he is kinda right. I mean, the truck house is kind of a crazy place. But I won't get into that. Anyway, let's start the tale. I had been traveling for quite a while on Route 110 when I saw a rest house on the side of the road, next to one of the cycling road's supporting pillars. As me and Blaze, my growler, were both tired and sore from the big, long walk, we thought it'd be a good idea to stop and rest a little. These rest houses are always appreciated. Apparently, Bob hadn't reached MADHOUSE City, otherwise he would have gotten a bike from Ride Hell by now, but of course he's been on foot, so alas. I grabbed the door handle and pushed the door open, expecting to be greeted by a bunch of trainers enjoying a break and drinking soda. But this was not the case. The house was empty. Blaze didn't care. He marked his territory on the corners of the room, pooping and peeing happily, before rushing to a cushion, lying on the floor, yawning, and scratching the cushion before laying down on the cushion, happily enjoying himself. I'm glad someone's enjoying themselves here. I sure the hell ain't. Anyway, I looked around the house, asking out loud if there was anybody else present, but my calls were left unanswered. I then saw a little note on the desk, lefted, and read it. Dunsparce can't read.
Hello, and welcome to the Trick House. Here, the rules are simple. Fight me, and you will get a prize. Best of luck, the Trick Master.
I thought this was great. All kinds of contests are being held here and there around Hoenn, giving out free TMs as a prize. This must have been one of them. And this one specific TM I have been looking for forever, but have yet to get it. I am desperate for Fire Blast, because Growlithe needs it. Blaze needs it so badly. I decided to play along, but it turned out to not be that hard at all of a challenge, as I soon heard a sound after my eyes leave the note. It was scratching from a vase. Something was dragging something on the floor. That's odd, but then again, I guess it wasn't a good face. Blaze heard it as well and already there, but since I did not order him to tackle or anything, he just went with dog instinct and scratched the vase frantically, wondering what was in there. I looked inside and saw someone sitting still, staring back at me. It's no use, I found you, I said to the man, face palming.
Damn it!
He answered before getting up and handing me a TM.
Alright, here is your prize. Next time, I'll be more careful. Come on.
I soon left the house to continue on my way. Kinda disappointed. Still not the TM I wanted. Well, of course not. That was too easy of a challenge. You think someone's gonna give you a free Fire Blast TM just because you did some easy challenge? No, you gotta break your back and stuff. You gotta go through flaming hoops and all that good stuff. But anyway, I soon left to continue my trip. But the next day, I returned, curious about what kind of trick he was up to this time, and hoping it wouldn't be as pathetic as the day before. Just like before, there was nobody in when I entered. Blaze started sniffing every corner of the house, taking his territory once more with the pissing and the pooping, as I read the note left on the table.
Hello, and welcome to the second edition of the Trick House. Here, the rules are simple. Find me, and you will get a free prize. Best of luck, the Trick Master. Hint, I am in the backyard.
I laughed. Now he was basically telling us where he was, though I don't remember this house having a backyard the previous day. I saw a back door that wasn't there before, and walked through it. There we were in the backyard. The Trick Master certainly outdid himself with a single night. I laughed even harder. I found myself at the entrance of a small maze of freshly transplanted flowers and plants of all kinds, completely secluded by a tall, white wooden fence. It was actually pretty calming and beautiful, to be honest. Blaze followed close behind, carefully sniffing his surroundings and occasionally taking a dump on the flowers, because if I were a dog, I would do that too, especially these flowers. So, it didn't take much time before I saw some bush move in the corner of my eye. It was either a Pokemon or the Trick Master. Of course it was the latter, because the farmer would be kind of weird to have Pokemon in the Trick Master's house, unless he let it in, but alas, that was not the case. The Trick Master gave me a TM and said that he'd try harder next time. Once again, I thanked him and left, still with no Fire Blast TM, because that was an easy challenge. At that point, I was laughing so much I was starting to cry. This was getting ridiculous. Little did I know that things would soon change. There we go, the twist, slowly working its way into this tale. The next day, I walked up to the house with Blaze again. The door was locked. I knocked, and the Trick Master's voice answered me.
I'm not yet ready. Please come back later.
I smiled. I don't know what he was doing in there, but it looked like he was actually putting forth an effort this time, and was actually putting time and thoughts and preparation to be elusive next time. I came back one day later and got the same answer again. I shrugged and left. I forgot about the Trick House for about a week until I happened to pass by on the cycling road. I had stopped to get some water to Blaze. It was a very hot day and we were both tired and thirsty. As I was enjoying the landscape during this short break, I noticed the house under the bridge and remembered about the Trick House and the Trick Master. I thought I'd pay a visit. As soon as we got to the front door, a chill ran up my spine, because Gengar was in the area, apparently. I couldn't see any light coming from the windows. It was pitch black inside. That was probably part of the new trick, so I didn't pay much attention. I opened the door and walked inside carefully. Blaze still at my side. I ordered him to use his flash ability to light up the room so we could see where we were going. As soon as he did, I gasped. It seemed no one had set foot in here in years, and when I say years, I literally mean it. I really mean it. The whole place, the floor, the walls, the furniture, everything was covered in a layer of dust. So thick, it was actually hard enough to be lifted off. All light bulbs were blown, and the plastic light switch had disintegrated. The furniture had looked like it had been thrown around, although in reality, they had just collapsed after their wooden legs had given up. The curtain and carpet were partially eaten by mites, and the old graffiti paint could be seen tearing off a wall under the dust. Some of the windows had been covered with wooden planks in thick, dried-out spider webs. So apparently some Spinarak, Ariados, Sableye, Rotoms, and any manner of Pokemon of the destructive nature arrived in here to make a mess, I'm guessing. Oh, Lord Giratina says that wasn't the case, but let's continue with the tale anyway. I walked up to the desk, which had taken an unnatural white color and looked like it was made out of calcified wood. The usual note was there. I picked it up and blew the dust off. All the dust made Blaze sneeze for a good while.
Hello, and welcome to the 3rd edition of the Trick House. Here, the rules are simple. Find me, and you will get a free prize. Best of luck, the Trick Master. Hint, you will have to find me at the very end of the house.
I did not smile, nor laugh, nor get any other kind of reaction. I just didn't know what to think. This was all just too weird. Once again, I just decided to play along. For some unknown reason, a decision that I would soon regret. I walked to the back door, and as soon as my hand grabbed the handle, Great Blaze started to growl fiercely. I turned around in shock. Blaze had a relaxed nature. He was a nice and patient little fellow who did not worry about a thing. He was always very calm and thoughtful. Growling was a very rare thing from him. And this kind of growl was such an unnatural behavior that it worried me. It felt like he was growling for his life. He bent my pants and tried to pull me away from the door. Then the pants ripped and he was naked at the end. No. He was not the same Growlithe I knew, and I didn't know what to do. I tried to talk with him into calming down, but without success. I kept on pulling on my pants until he ripped the bottom of my pants leg off. This angered me and I yelled at him, without thinking for a second that he only wanted to protect me. He understood I wouldn't listen to him, so he just sat there, in the middle of the room, staring at me at the door, all while growling. I opened the door and walked through it, but Blaze did not follow me. The backyard's garden was too different. The maze of fresh flowers and bushes were now a mess of overgrown, dead plants covering the whole place. There was a thick mist in the area that blurred my sight past 2 to 3 meters, 4 meters. I walked around for a while. There was no sounds. The tall wooden fence was replaced by stone walls, and a thick glass roof covered the entire garden, explaining why the place was rather well lit. I had to be careful in not hurting myself of the defunct, overgrown rose bushes, and at some point, a Zubat nearly crashed in my face.
The Zubats! The Shiny Zubat Club!
He gonna get in you and bite you on the butt? That's how you join the club? Seeing how it made me feel a little better, at least there were still a few living things in here. Yeah, pest. And the sound of its wings flapping broke through the loud buzzing my ears produced out of hearing music at a high volume for so many years. The garden gave on a dark condor the size of a normal door. I used the screen of my Pokénav to light my path as I was walking. The corridor. Again, Dunsparce can't read. The corridor was getting narrower as each step I took, and eventually ended up crawling through a tiny passageway before finding myself in another room. By then I knew something wasn't right, due to the simple fact that when I saw the house from above, it was still a somewhat small house with a river flowing close behind. There was no such rooms like this that could exist. The room I was in now was completely empty and dark, except for a round table in the center with a single spotlight above it. The spotlight lighting up the table was strong, as it created a painful contrast with the rest of the room. Matter of fact, the light it created did not radiate through the room as normal lights do. It only lit up the table, and everything around was engulfed in total darkness. Besides, This room was squeaky clean and everything seemed brand new, as if just been built and carefully cleaned a minute ago. There was nothing on the table, and eerily nothing under it, not even a shadow. I found no other exit to this room other than the one I just came from. Carefully inspecting the walls and the floor did not reveal any hidden door or trap. It was a dead end. I shrugged it off and walked back to the small hole in the wall from which I previously crawled through. As I was about to enter it, I heard a clear and distinct hissing noise fly by my right ear. I jumped and looked behind. Everything was total darkness. The spotlight had gone out. It was the Trickmaster's new trick involved scaring people, but right now it was working, and working damn well. I faced the hole again. I heard a loud clapping sound resonating from the room. I looked back again. The light was back, and on the table stood a shiny green Teddiursa, which did nothing but stare intensively at me with a larger than should be ever grin which literally extended from ear to ear. Hey look, Freddy Fazbear's cousin. It's cousin. I screamed and hurried back into the hole, crawling as fast as I could through the narrow passageway until it got bigger and I could finally stand on 2 legs and run. Yeah, because when I see a shiny Pokemon, even if it's scary as hell, I'm not going to question it and try to catch it. No, I'm going to run like hell. I'm going to run like hell. I found myself facing a door that clearly remembered was not there before. I hesitated to open. Where was I going to end up? I looked behind, facing the option of returning to the Teddiursa's room. I definitely didn't want to go back there. Yeah, because I'm an idiot. I don't want no shiny Pokemon. I opened the door, closing my eyes. In fright of what could be behind it, I heard it close behind me. I did not dare move. I wanted to call out for Blaze. He would have showed me the way back out, but deep inside, I know he wouldn't hear me. I started to feel something crawling up my ankles, then my legs. I shook them, trying to chase whatever it was with my hand, but it did not work. I dared to open an eye, and the feeling had disappeared. It was nothing. I was relieved. Yeah, it was totally a Gengar, son. I looked around. 4 large and tall dead trees stood around me, casting dark and heavy shadows on the ground. The ground was an odd mix of dried earth and white grass. I could see no light source around, yet the area was lit with a soft white light that reminded me of strong moonlight. Oh, I wish Blaze was by my side. How I wished I had listened to him when he tried to warn me. Yeah, because dogs are very smart. You shouldn't question them. They can sense danger. And Pokemon have acute senses of that too. I carefully walked amongst the trees, once in a while jumping and looking back after I felt something blow on my neck. The place grew colder by the moment and I was freezing. I walked for what felt like an hour. I started to see a house up ahead. Where was this place? Had the Trickmaster led me to some place he had hidden far up in the forest? Was it night already? I took out my Pokénav to look at the time. My Pokénav's new battery was dead. Either something had drained its energy out, or had been there way longer than what my brain would tell me. I reached the house and stopped. Somehow I'd seen this house before, but I couldn't recall where. I tried to open the door, but it was locked. A small piece of paper was hanging on the handle. It said, "I need a key." Of course, I could see that, but where was the key? I heard a low and loud humming behind me and started to panic. Rotom was here. I was not alone and did not know what else was out there with me. and wasn't sure if I wanted to know or not. I turned around shaking. Obviously, I did not see anyone or anything. The temperature had dropped even more. Gengar's work is coming. It felt like I'd be freezing to death soon if I did not find a way out. I saw something on the floor. It was shining like a metal object reflecting in the light. I ran to it, and the thing that was there, it followed me, right behind me. All that time, it was breathing down my neck, letting out little growls on my ears. Key! It was the bloody key, and it was on the floor. I grabbed it. To my surprise, it wouldn't come, like something was holding it on the ground. I pulled harder. Then I felt it again, that crawling on my ankles. This time I could see what it was. Thick shadows cast by the trees were crawling up my legs. My heart was racing so hard I thought I'd faint from fright. Looking around me made me realize that all the shadows were leaning towards me. I felt it on my hands, too, while holding the key down, was now creeping up my hands and pulling them down as well. I pulled as hard as I could as adrenaline rushed into my body. I screamed as loud as I could, a scream able to wake up the dead. Finally, I gave up. Whatever it was released its grip, and I fell on my back with the key in my hand. I got up and looked at the house. Light was now filtering out of its windows, and I remember where I had seen it. It was the trick house itself. I rushed to it, clumsily drove the key into the keyhole, and turned the handle. It worked. The door opened, and I ran inside, closing it behind me. I was back in the trick house, in a well-lit, normal main room, and the trick master standing behind his desk, looking at me with a face as white as a ghost. We stared at each other for what seemed like an eternity, both of us waiting for the other to talk first. I was the one to break the silence. Why are you so white? I faintly asked, my voice refusing to obey me. He, in the same faint voice, answered, You came in not 5 seconds ago, eerily unsubstantial, like a black and white holographic version of yourself. I tried to get your attention, but you walked right through me and exited the back door, which I thought was funny because I destroyed the backyard and blocked every way out, and expecting you to come back through the back door ever again not to be a possibility. But you came through the front door. I did not know what to say. My jaw simply dropped to the floor. I looked out the door, and I saw a sunny Route 110. And looking back inside, I saw Blaze peacefully sleeping on the cushion. What had just happened? Where had I been? I would never know.
So he did survive this tale as he lays asleep at his campground. Where was he? Perhaps I had something to do with it. And when I mean I'm Lord Giratina with the Distortion World. But we will never know. Again, another well-written tale. I may have butchered it in some parts, but what can I say? I'm Dunsparce from the Distortion World. I'm a Pokemon, damn it. Do you think I know how to read? No! Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and hope you will come back for another tale of Dunsparce's dark tales. Until then, as Anrisparce would say, take care, farewell, love from the Anrisparce army, Hell Dunsparce. Later, everybody.